2, 1. Welcome to the Strategy and Communication Services Committee meeting for September 12th, 2023. On this committee, myself, Councillor O'Toole, Councillor Bosch is online, and Mayor Clayton. On the agenda, reports, 3.1, service area update with Chief McEachran.
Thank you, Chair Berg. For intergovernmental affairs, final preparations are being made for the county and with the county and MD for a joint investment attraction event, which we will be hosting in Calgary next week on September 20th as part of the World Petroleum Congress. In human resources, our Municipal Leadership Academy, which I've mentioned in previous committee meetings, this is the leadership program that we have put together for up-and-coming leaders within our organization. It has kicked off very successfully, and we completed Tier 1 and Tier 2, their first sessions within the last week. Very positive results and feedback so far from participants. And we also completed a formal mentorship training program for almost 20 leaders in the organization, and that is a mentorship program which will be ongoing over the next year, where we have partnered staff with mentees, and they will assist them to become mentors on their own. Under psychological wellness, health and safety has been hosting a Science of Hope and Principles of Trauma-Informed Approach. And under culture, we have an organizational employee survey, which will occur on October 30th to November 13th. This is through a third party to ensure confidentiality. On the Grande Prairie Police Service, we have assigned one HR consultant who is now supporting the GPPS physically in their location once a week. Very positive feedback, strong focus on recruitment of our first new hires. For corporate marketing, the brand strategy is in final stages. Brand visual identity is also in final stages of development, and we're planning for executing on track right now. And for the Citizen Engagement Center, our cases by origin this week, or the last 2 weeks, have been similar to past in about 2,500 inquiries. We did see an increased number of calls and in-person interactions regarding information around the new free youth transit passes. And as I mentioned last committee, we are doing SMS testing. It's in the final stages, and we're looking to soft launch it on September 18th. And with that, I can take any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Looking online, Councillor Bosch, you've got your hand up.
No, I don't see it up here.
All right. Oh, sorry, that's the mouse. Thank you, Councillor Palat. It's a hand instead of an arrow, and it was over Councillor Bosch. So, does anyone else have any questions? You can go ahead if you want. No? Okay. Anyone else with some questions?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. No questions? Okay, thank you, Chief. Moving on, no correspondence or other business. So item number 6, bylaw and policy review. Again, Chief McEachran.
Thank you, Chair Berg. And for this item and the next, Ms. Leona Hansen, our City Clerk, will be presenting on the bylaw amendment.
Ms. Hansen.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. We have 2 bylaw amendments to bring forward for committee this morning. The first one is on bylaw 1388B, being the city administration bylaw, an amendment to it. Just to speak to this one, after with the conclusion of the restructuring that took place several months ago, the administration bylaw has been reviewed and updated for consideration. Some of the changes within that are basically 2 definitions, and you'll see this through all of the bylaw amendments that we are bringing forward, where we're just doing some editorial work to remove numbering, so it makes it easier when further amendments are coming forward that they can be managed a little easier. Section number 4 was the designated officer, and this is on page 9 of your package, and that's the marked up version. And what has been done here is to identify and create clarity that the city manager is the authority piece that council has provided to that position, and through the city manager, then they determine the designated officers. From time to time, though, the responsibilities may change or they're delegated to other members of staff, and this creates a more easier transition for the city manager to be able to delegate those responsibilities. So that is the change that's been made. With that, the only other additions or the only other amendments to it are more on the wordsmithing side of it, and would be happy to answer any questions that committee may have.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson. Just reviewing this document, I really appreciate the language clarity edits, and I do prefer the marked up version. So, you know, that's something that's relatively new, but it allows me to see the changes. So thank you very much. And again, I appreciate the language clarity. Anyone with any questions? All right, Councillor O'Toole with some business.
All straightened out here. I move that committee recommend council give 3 readings to bylaw C-1388B, being an amendment to the city administration bylaw. And with that, I do appreciate the staff report, and it's an ongoing thing. We have to update our bylaws occasionally because of wording or staff changes or department changes. So yeah, I support this.
All right, Councillor Bressie.
Great, thank you. Just got a minor thing that the committee might consider in section 4.1. And I guess my question to administration would be if this was considered all by administration, but it says the city manager is hereby authorized to carry out all the powers and duties. And that sounds a lot like a may here, where I think our expectation would be that they will do that. So I'm wondering if we should be adding a shall or specific direction in that clause to, we expect you to do all of these things. It's not just that you're allowed to do all of these things.
Shane's not here, so.
All right. Do we need a motion to change the language? Kate? You're good with that edit? Okay. Okay, so Councillor O'Toole?
Yeah, I would make that motion.
He's not on the committee. Councillor O'Toole?
That'd be me. I move that we make the...
Oh, okay, sorry, Mayor Clayton. Okay, Councillor Bosch, are you prepared to make that word change? Okay. Yeah, we'll push it through the council. Yeah, we'll do that. Sure. That's fine. Thank you, Mayor Clayton, for that point of order. Okay, so then I will call the question. All right. Thank you, Ms. Hanson, for that. Item number 6.2, Procedure Bylaw C-1299G, amendments.
Okay, thank you through the chair. The Bylaw 1299G Procedure Bylaw amendment, we've had several amendments over the last few years, and it is one of the bylaws that tend to be amended more frequently to allow for any changes to things like the MGA and other business of the city. At the April 17th meeting, council resolution was made to direct administration to prepare an amendment to the procedure bylaw under Schedule A to incorporate the land acknowledgement and return that to the appropriate standing committee, which is today. When we have an amendment that's coming forward, we do always take an opportunity to review the entire bylaw just for word clarity, any other changes that may have been needed, and so we did so with this bylaw as well. Again, the definition side of it was changed to align with consistency of our bylaws moving forward. And under the definition, under peace officer, there was a change to include the allowance for when members are being hired for the new municipal police services, so that is already built into the bylaw. Under section 4.31, there was clarity created and some rewording of the in-camera portion as to participation in camera sessions of council and committee. The current bylaw reference that a city clerk must be in all in-camera sessions, which the wording that has been replaced is in line with the Act and the reference that it makes, and where it allows council to determine at the meeting as to who will participate in in-camera sessions, being council and one or more other individuals as you choose to have. So that's the change that was made to that particular section. And the other one being the reference to remote access, which was already dealt with a prior amendment, remains in place. This is on page 30 of your package, just for reference. The land acknowledgement, again, was one that was requested of council, and it has been included in Schedule A, addition item number 3. And this is on page 45. And there's just some wordsmithing to allow for some flexibility should a need for a change in timing of a meeting occur. Under Schedule B, again, there was some wording change just to align again with the new structure of the city that needed that wasn't caught in the first amendment, and it was changed in this one. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hanson. Councillor Bressy.
Great, thank you. A question I had was under Financial Administrative Services Committee in Schedule B, legal and risk management is being struck from their responsibilities. Why was that, and where do those conversations land now?
Through the chair to Councillor Bressy. So when the initial structuring realignment occurred, legal and risk was under the Financial Administration Committee. Later, through some of the further edits to the structure, and when city solicitor was hired, where the legal and risk department falls is under city solicitor, that is a direct report to city manager. And so it's no longer under financial committee. The legal and risk department reports directly to city manager on the chart. And so that's why it was removed from that particular heading, because it's not actually there.
So that makes sense from an administrative perspective to me, but these are council committees. So where would council have relevant discussions about legal and risk management?
And Councillor Bressley, for the record, Mr. Freeman is online if you want to direct a question to him.
Sure, yeah, wherever.
Okay.
Through the chair. So I think the intention would be that if there was a legal matter within operational services, it would be addressed at operational services or a risk identified. So it would be specific to which committee is appropriate. So it's still covered.
Okay, you're satisfied? Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, then I think there's some business to do here. Councillor O'Toole.
I move that committee recommend council give 3 readings to bylaw C-1299G, being an amendment to the procedure bylaw.
All right, that's in order. Councillor Bressy.
Sorry to be the disruptor today. Thank you for your patience, Chairberg. The one other thing I'd highlight is when it comes to the orders of the day for council meetings, I might be a minority of council here, but personally, I think that we might be getting the national anthem and the land acknowledgement backwards in this. For me, I like that we have both those as part of our part of our meeting. I like both the land acknowledgement and the national anthem because I think their purpose is to root us in the history of our community, our country, our province, and remind us that we're building on the work of past generations for the work of future generations. And with my understanding of why we do them, that they're about our history, it just is weird that we do the one that acknowledges our deep history since time immemorial after we acknowledge our more recent history since the time of colonization. And so it's kind of weird for me to have them in the order they're listed here. My personal preference would be that they'd be reversed, but won't make a big deal about it, but just want to at least get those thoughts out there.
Okay. All right. And with that, we'll call the motion, and if we wish to discuss this further at council, we can do that. All right. So I call the question. And that passes unanimously. Outstanding item list, and thank you, Ms. Hanson. Outstanding item list with Chief McEachran.
Thank you, Chair Berg. For the outstanding items list, number 1265, the procedure bylaw amendment was today, so I recommend we remove that from the list, and the other two remain on schedule for completion.
All right, any questions around outstanding items? No? Throw it back to you, Councillor O'Toole.
Thank you very much, Councillor Berg. I move that committee receive the September 12th, 2023 outstanding items list as amended for information.
And that's in order. Call the question.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
Councillor Berg in favor. And that passes unanimously. And with that, I adjourn the Strategy and Communication Services Committee meeting. Up next, Public and Protective Services. We'll take a couple minutes and be right back.